There was a time when you believed that the world saw you in a certain way, when you thought their laughter had power over you, when the echoes of the past still held weight in your present. But isn't it fascinating how the mind can hold on to things long after they've served their purpose? And isn't it even more fascinating how the simple act of questioning a belief can begin to dissolve it? Because when you think about it, what if their laughter was never about you? What if it was just a noise? What if the very thing you feared was just a reflection of their own insecurities? And if it was never about you, then why would you keep carrying it? And now you begin to notice something. An old pattern unravels, like a tightly wound thread, finally loosening, releasing, dissolving. You spent years trying to be unseen, believing safety came in the form of invisibility. But who made that rule? Who decided that being hidden was better than being seen? And when did you agree to that? And if you agreed to it once, then isn't it true that you can decide to unagree now? Because the truth is, you were never hiding from them. You were hiding from an outdated version of yourself. A version that thought fear was protection, when in reality, fear was just a habit. And what happens when a habit is no longer useful? You let it go. And as you let it go, something shifts. You begin to realize that fear was never the enemy. Fear was just a compass pointing you towards your new breakthrough. And what if, instead of running from it, you ran toward it? What if you met ridicule with curiosity? What if every time someone tried to tear you down, you sought out proof that you were standing tall? Because the stronger you hold your reality, the stronger it becomes. The more you believe in yourself, the more others believe in you. And isn't it interesting how the moment you stop seeking validation, it's the moment you start commanding respect? Because the greatest speakers, the most powerful influencers, they don't convince, they don't persuade, they embody. They commit so fully to their truth that others can't help but feel it. And now you realize this is you. And you notice something else, a quiet space in your mind, a calmness where the overthinking used to be. And in that space is clarity, and in that clarity is power. Because the less you try to control, the more influence you have. The less you force, the more naturally things unfold. And maybe, just maybe, this shift is already happening. Maybe it's been happening all along. Maybe as you sit here, listening to these words, something inside you is already rewiring. When you think about it, isn't it fascinating how easy it is to step into a new reality when you decide to? So now what happens next? What do you do with this new perspective? When you walk into the world knowing you're free, when you no longer shrink but expand, when you stop waiting for permission and start being. Because isn't it obvious now? The world was never laughing at you. The world was waiting for you to show up. And now you do. Because there was a time when you believed that fear kept you safe, that hiding made you invisible, that silence protected you. But have you ever wondered, what if all of that was just a misunderstanding? A moment frozen in time, repeating itself only because no one ever questioned it. Because when you think about it, was it really their laughter that hurt? Or was it what you made it mean? And if it was just a meaning, a story, a perception, then isn't it fascinating how a single shift in perspective can unravel years of limitation? What if you'd simply forgotten? The only reason people ridicule is because they see something in you they don't understand, something they don't have, something that unsettles them. And what if that something was power? Because power doesn't come from avoiding ridicule. It comes from embracing it, from standing so solid in who you are, that their laughter turns into echoes, fading into nothingness, dissolving into silence. And now, as you look back, isn't it strange how much energy you spent shrinking? Isn't it strange how long you held on to rules that no longer serve you? Because who decided that showing emotions was weakness? Who decided that being seen was dangerous? And when did you agree to that? And if you agreed to it once, isn't it true that you can choose to unagree now? Because the world was never against you. It was simply waiting for you to step into yourself. And as you step forward, something shifts. The tension releases. The weight lifts. The walls you built start to dissolve. And in that space, something awakens. In that version of you that was never afraid. The part that always knew how to shine. The part that was always just waiting for you to remember. It's fascinating how the moment you stop fearing ridicule is the moment you become untouchable. How the moment you stop chasing validation is the moment people start listening. Because the strongest reality wins. The more you commit to your version of reality, the more others will follow. The more you trust yourself, the more the world will reflect that trust back to you. So now, as you sit here, knowing what you know, what happens next? What do you do when fear no longer holds power? When you no longer hesitate but act? When you no longer shrink but expand? Because the truth is, you were never meant to be hidden. You were meant to be seen. And now you are.